Hey friends, welcome to Mark Remeets World. I'm your host, Mark Levy. It's a little bit late, that's why I'm talking a little bit quietly right now. But welcome. Today we have a really fun episode with you. My guest is Josh Consalvo, and we're going to be talking about the episode 19 from season 1, Kids Gloves. Well, Kid Gloves. If you have not watched the episode, I highly recommend you watch it before you watch this. So either watch it Disney Plus, Daily Motion, DVDs, get lucky and just see it streaming somewhere, or hop in a time machine, go back to 1994 and watch it live. Whatever way works for you, I'll be here waiting. All right, now we gave you the time. Just sit back, relax, and of course, enjoy the show. And we're back. Oh my god, I'm so excited. We're here. I've got a good friend of mine here, first time guest. I guess you say first time caller. I don't know. That's a weird thing to say. But the one, the only, my dear friend Josh Consalvo. How are you, dude?
I'm great. What did it say? Long time, first time,
Yeah,
long time listener, first time caller here
yeah.
in the flesh.
It's a weird thing to say that. I mean, like, but it's that thing. I mean, I'm happy to have you here, and it's always fun to find a person that loves Boy Meets World. So
Yes. Oh man, I have loved Boy Meets World for a very long time, and it's wonderful to escape to the Boy Meets World when the actual world is on fire.
yeah, it's a weird thing of like it's less on fire, but still on fire.
Yeah, it is less on fire. I will say that. I'm very glad to say that the world is a little less on fire and headed towards a brighter future, but nonetheless, still great to escape. Watched the episode this morning, enjoyed the heck out of it, and it makes me want to just go ahead and rewatch the whole series again. So,
Yeah, I mean, right now. This is my second rewatch of the whole series in a row because what made me want to watch the show again is like to do this show is because the fact that like I watched it all on Disney Plus in like 1 month long span last year, and I was just
oh
like,
wow.
this is still amazing, and I want to
Mhm.
like talk about it, and I'm happy to be able to do it almost on season one.
Yeah,
Um,
I can't even tell you how many times I've rewatched Boy Meets World now. I watched it the first like my first exposure to Boy Meets World was when like I was I don't know eighth or ninth grade and it was like reruns on ABC Family
yeah,
and I would come home and watch it like and so and got through most of it but never knew if I had seen the whole thing and then at one point I bought all like I own
you
all
have
of
all
Boy
seven seasons
yeah
on
I
DVD.
have
Yeah.
all on DVD and rewatched it then at one point then rewatched it in college with my roommate then watched through most of it a couple years ago. I've watched this so many
Yeah,
times.
it's a thing of like when there was a point in my life when I got home and I saw it in syndication, I would just watch it.
Mm.
Like, yeah. But today we're doing season 1, episode 19, Kid Gloves. I'll give a little vital statistics on the episode. Aired on March 25th, 1994. It was directed, of course, by David Trainer and written by Jeff Manel. And the plot is it's Corey's birthday, and the set gives him a necklace. And that's all you really need to know about the plot of the episode because there's not much more to it. But yeah, this is one of those episodes I think a lot of people do remember. It's not one of the best episodes, but it's one of the ones that's got a lot of good heart to it. That's for sure. Um, and we're going to start off with the beginning of the episode. I love when Feeney lists like what the extracurricular activities the kids can do are. It's like vocabulary club, debate club, scuba club, and upholstery squad.
Upholstery squad. I can't tell you that I had the option to do really any of those things as a club. Like what like I would like to know some of the like what do you do in vocabulary club? What do you do? Upholstery club. I get it. Like you do
Yeah,
upholstery.
I mean debate club. We definitely had it like all my
Yeah,
schools, but
of
like
course.
and scuba club wasn't really offered.
I can't imagine a seventh grader being offered. They're in seventh grade here, right?
Yeah,
Or maybe
yeah,
they're
they're still in seventh grade. Yeah,
yeah. They're in seventh grade here. I can't imagine being a seventh grader being offered the opportunity to do a scuba club, even if it was at like like a YMCA pool. That just sounds unbelievably dangerous.
I've never scuba in my entire
Oh,
life,
me
and I'm
either.
still scared of it. And I'm from
Yeah.
Florida, so it's like that thing of like I should be okay with like water related activities. Um, but yeah, it's a thing of man, those clubs are so weird. And I love the part when Sean speaks up and Phineas is like, Corey, shut up.
Yeah. And then I actually this is the first joke I wrote down because It's so funny. Corey, says, "Hey, that wasn't me," and that was Sean, and Feeney just goes, "Same thing."
Yeah.
Like, and this is early in the series, but it's already like this like wonderful dynamic of Mr. Feeney and that their banter. It's top notch.
And then it's just really fun. And that proceeds into like the scene of Feeney asking them what the acronym of scuba means, and Corey says Duba.
That gets me every time. That gets me every single time. I know the joke's coming, and he says Duba, and just his delivery and everything about it is so funny, and it just makes me laugh every single time.
And then like I forget what Sean just did watch this yesterday. It was like something is coming under the boat.
Andy.
Yeah.
Or something. Something like that. Something's creepy under boat. Something's coming under the boat. Anyway, it's also makes me laugh every time.
Exactly. And then we get to like Feeney's like upset that no one's getting it right. And he's like, Minkus, you know the answer. And Minkus is like, Duba? Because
I don't want to be right anymore. I'm tired of being the smart guy. Good for Minkus.
Oh God, I'm so sad we're near the end of Minkus. I'm so sad.
I know.
This is like one of our last 4 Minkus minutes later today, but we'll get there together.
There'll be one more. Don't worry.
There will be one more. Yes, there will be one more in about 3 seasons.
In a while.
Yeah.
Oh, but what I do want to say about this is, I was watching The Weakest Link a couple weeks ago, and this was a trivia question. The trivia question was, what does scuba stand for? And I couldn't remember it at that moment, but I was like, I should know this because of Boy Meets World. I should know this because of this episode. I couldn't quite remember it, but I knew it was. And I believe that was the winning question for that episode. Spoilers if you hear that question, he gets it right.
For those that want to know, it's self-contained breathing apparatus. So,
underwater breathing
apparatus. Yeah, I forgot the U. And then like it goes to the opening credits. I love those season 1 opening credits. And then Alan sneaks into the boys' room and puts a box, like a good-sized box, on Corey's face while he's sleeping. And Corey does not wake up. Eric wakes up, tries to wake up Corey to find out see what it is, and he proceeds to pull out a megaphone to wake up Corey. And I'm like, oh man, there's similarity between me and Corey.
Well, and when he wakes him up, he says, well, it's something to the effect of, Corey, there's not a box on your head, because it previously been like, hey, there's a box on your head. Wake up. And then he gets the megaphone. Hey, there is not a box on your head. And this is the kind of humor that just gets me, because Corey wakes up and goes, like, why'd you lie to me? There is a box on my head.
And then he opens up the box and he sees that it's a necklace with what he thinks is silver mittens. And he's like, well, it's my birthday. It's nice that Dad got me this. Oh, why can't you get me a Bowie knife like he got you? And because Corey wants a knife, because it's a knife. All kids want knives.
Yeah. I was not that kid.
I wasn't either.
Not that I would have wanted this, silver gloves necklace by any means, but I was not like, I need a knife. Not me.
And Corey doesn't want to wear it. But he's like, I guess I'm going to have to, just for Dad's sake, because it clearly means a lot to Dad. And there's a really funny joke where Corey is like, how long do I have to wear it? And Eric's like, well, Dad's relatively young. So.
Yeah, that is a great sequence.
Yeah. So then we get downstairs, and Alan thinks that Corey's gonna love his silver gloves, and Corey doesn't. That's the best way to put that. Like, he's like, kind of like, okay, cool, okay.
Yeah, he doesn't, just like anything that Corey ever does. He is not particularly subtle about how he feels about anything, and so he very, very much brushes off like, hey, thanks for the gift, whatever, see you, Dad, bye. After Alan was just all like, hey, Amy, get this, your son is going to love me more than you, at least today. Like, and so Corey runs out the door, completely dismissing the gift, and Amy's like, did you explain this gift to him?
Yeah, which he didn't yet. And then Morgan comes downstairs. And God, this is, I think this is one of those episodes where Morgan has a lot to do with very little, has a lot to say with very little to do. Because she's got like 2 meaty scenes in this up the scene, and like right before the credits, where she's like, hey, Corey got a gift. Where's my gift? Um,
Yeah, it's a very weak subplot like to this episode, but like gives Morgan a lot to do, like you said. What is your opinion of Morgan 1.0?
I like both Morgans a lot, honestly. I think Morgan 1.0 does a really great job with what she is hired to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that her job is to be a Michelle Tanner,
Yeah.
and she does a really good job at it. I think Morgan 2.0, they give a little more to do, but also there's a lot less more. Like it's Morgan 2.0, there's more to her, but there's less of her.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I mean, not to spoil, but like, Morgan disappears for a little while.
She disappears for a whole season.
For,
We're almost there.
And then reappears, and it's very funny. And they're very
ages 4 years instead of like 1 year.
Yeah. Oh, the aging of all of these characters, is ridiculous throughout the whole series. There's
I mean, like
continuity. If you're looking for a show with great continuity, Boy Meets World is not for you.
I mean, because they go through 5 years, 6 years in 4 years.
Right.
Because season 1 is middle school, and they're 7th grade, and then they're in high school at 8th grade, I guess, and then they're like the next 2 seasons are definitely kind of amorphous blobs, and then and then senior year is 4th season, and then they're in college for the rest.
Yeah, and so anyway, Morgan is just kind of she does exactly what she's hired to do, kind of be the Michelle Tanner with a little bit more of like a bratty side, a little bit more of an annoying side, entitled side, especially in this episode.
Yeah.
But did you ever watch Girl Meets World?
A little bit. I never got too into it. My girlfriend loves it though.
Well, there's a very funny episode towards the end where both Morgans show up.
as Morgan, or
they're just both. They're both in the same room, and they just kind of act as if it's normal. Like it's really funny.
All right, I'm gonna have to watch that. That's great. Oh my god. Also, I love this is. We'll talk more about this later, but in this sequence, right after Morgan leaves, like Amy's just like, Alan, do not cave in.
Yeah. Right. And this made me think, like, I don't have kids. I very well might one day. I'd like to. But I'm like, is this something that I will do? Like, if I have multiple kids, like, am I going to spoil the younger one with presents when it's the other one's turn? And I really like to think that I wouldn't. I really like to think that I wouldn't, because I just think it's not great. Like, is it bad parenting? I don't know.
I mean, I'm an only child. I don't have any kids. So they never had to deal with that kind of situation when I was a kid. I would have been it's a thing of like, I guess it probably would have been the oldest if there was, but like, it's a thing of, I don't know. I think my parents probably would have.
Yeah. I don't know if my parents said I am the oldest, and so it probably wouldn't have happened to me because I was the oldest, so probably they thought I was better or more mature or whatever. I could handle it. But I don't remember my siblings getting presents on my birthdays, and I certainly don't remember. I definitely didn't get presents on my siblings' birthdays. I think we all just like learned to be like, hey, it's your turn. Like you get presents.
That's cool. No, I mean, but I don't know. I mean, knowing that you're a nice guy, like that type of dude that you are, that you're a very good, caring person, I would imagine that you might do something like that, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. I like to think I'm going to be a hard-nosed parent and be like, sorry, it's his birthday. Enjoy the toys you have. You have a roof over your head today.
I want to talk about something that kind of eked me out of this episode, and I'm sure it did the same thing to you. So they all are at scuba club, and they're taking off their bathrobes, and the whole audience goes, ooh, every time that happens.
Yeah, there's like this weird, like, slight sexualization in this season that happens that makes more sense later on down the road when they get a little bit older.
Yeah, totally. But these are 11-year-olds. They're prepubescent.
But like, let's be real. I've had a crush on Topanga my entire life, so it is what it is.
I mean, that's fair. It's just so funny. Like Corey does after, and everyone's like, "Woo!" And then Sean takes up like a weird like 6-pack abs drawn on, and like that's taken off, and then like ooh, and then Topanga does it ooh, and then
it's a little it's just a little unsettling. There's something fun and innocent about it, but the piped in audience noise, or I don't know, was it tape?
I assume live audience.
I don't know. It's a little strange, but it is what it is.
And and the boys are like, "Oh, you're like a little pasty little white dude." And Topanga tells Corey and Sean not to make fun of each other. And then Minkus shows up and he's in a green wetsuit, and he immediately says that he's immediately called a stick of juicy fruit.
Mm-hmm. But then Minkus turns it around and has some game because, when Topanga takes off her bathrobe or whatever, like Sean and Corey are dumbfounded because they are starting to feel things that they've probably never felt before. And this is just like the slight, like, first little seeds of them becoming like girl obsessed. It really doesn't start happening until next season, but it starts happening a little bit in season 1.
Right, because there's an episode where, like in 2 episodes from now, I think there's an episode when they're like attracted to girls.
Yeah. That's when the Corey Topanga stuff starts happening.
Yeah.
But this is just kind of like planting that seed. But they're just both dumbfounded. They can't insult her. And then it's really funny. Sean's even like, she's just a girl in a bathing suit. Insult her. Like, this is what we do. We're as 11-year-olds. We insult girls.
And Corey's just
they just can't do it. And then Minkus goes over and starts like having some game with Topanga, and Sean and Corey are really upset about it because he's doing something non-academically better than them, and they don't like it.
Oh god, it's such a fun, weird little thing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you're right. Like, it is the first time that you actually see Corey thinking of Topanga outside of just she's kind of a friend.
And kind of crazy, as she'll only be in this season.
I mean, she's kind of crazy for next season 2, if not mistaken. But yeah,
she loses a lot of the like the granola, so to speak. Yeah.
And then the Dive Master shows up, and it's Feeney.
Of course,
because they all want. I love the joke how it's like right before he shows up, like Sean's like, "Let's get out of the classroom. I gets away from Feeney," and then Dive Master Feeney shows up. And
Feeney does everything.
He's a bag of tricks,
Yeah.
And then later, immediately later, there's a callback to the joke that Sean is a gross child, who doesn't brush his teeth and has like bad hygiene, who smells kind of bad.
Right, because Feeney is teaching them to share the same mouthpiece or whatever, and Corey's like, because they're gonna be partners, and Corey's like, "Did you brush your teeth today?" And Sean just says, "What day is it today?" And I brushed my teeth, but I totally relate with that. Like from like when I was his age, I probably did the same thing. Where I was like, "Did I brush my teeth today?" I once had. This is an embarrassing story that just came to my mind, but I once had a PE teacher pull me aside to ask me if I wore deodorant regularly because some of the other kids were starting to say that I smelled bad.
I've been that boat before. Yeah. You gotta love it. Like when your body is changing, you don't know what's up.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're entering that time. It probably in the real time because they're probably I don't know. I wonder how old they actually are. Like
in 93, I can let you know. Well, 94, I can let you know. Give me 1 second.
I would be willing to bet they're a little older than what they're playing. That's feels pretty normal.
I think they were a little bit older. Because Ben Savage was born in 1980, so that would have made him almost 14.
13, 14, yeah. So he's a little older.
Ryder Strong was 14. So
there you go. So yeah, they're a little older than what they're playing. So they're probably actually going through puberty while they're experiencing while they're
they all grew up watching the show. So
of course,
all doing the show,
on the show, being the show.
Yeah. And then we after that little sequence, we find out Corey lost a necklace. But he's like, it's not a big deal, it's just a necklace of silver mittens. And because he still doesn't know what the necklace means. Then we get Alan decides to tell them what the necklace is. And that's not silver mittens, but boxing gloves. Silver boxing gloves, because we find out that Alan, back when he was a kid, was a boxer in the Navy, and that's his second place in the Navy prize.
Which, of course, leads to a great joke where Corey goes, "Is second place all that impressive when there's only 2 guys in the ring?" And he's like, "No, this was the entire Navy. I came in second place."
Yeah, and he was talking about how he got basically mauled every time, in the last fight, how his eye was hanging out, and it was a really sad situation. It sounds like, And then Corey realizes that he screwed up and like immediately goes on, I need to fix this situation, and he like runs away to like get the necklace. Yeah.
Yeah, he starts the journey to retrace all his steps. Eric is accomplice, I guess, in the mission now, because Eric is now charged with the task of covering for him, saying that he just wants to go get dinner with Sean, which would have been a really great plan if not for what happens in a moment. And Corey's off to the races to go make it happen.
And in a moment, Sean appears, wondering where Corey is, and they actually do. I honestly think they do a pretty good job of handling this compared to some of their other schemes.
Fair.
Well, like, because like it's so they say that Corey is at Sean's house, but Sean wants to know what they are the Matthews are having for dinner, so Corey and Sean can know what they're having for dinner.
Right.
It almost makes sense.
It almost makes sense. I love that Sean ruins it because he starts like Sean almost like finds himself in the shoes of the people watching himself, like, and he goes, well, wouldn't they just call? And Eric's like, you're killing me, you're killing me. So and Morgan's like, this is pathetic. Amy and Alan see right through it the whole time, of course, but then Sean's like, wait a minute, I don't have to continue doing this. I don't live here. None of this is my responsibility. So I'm just going to leave. And I'm going to let Eric just sit here and have to deal with it, which is very typical of Sean and very funny.
I also love, there's a joke in there where towards the beginning of the scene, Eric is like, I'm the older brother. Well, and after tonight, possibly the only
one. Yeah.
And then we get a fun point of view camera from the YMCA pool. Where you realize that Corey is just scuba diving underwater. You hear the little breathing sounds.
I believe you mean scuba dubaing.
Dubaing, yeah. And you see that like there's a stingray in the pool. There's like a whole bunch of other weird little crap on the bottom of the pool. There's a brick with a doll attached to it.
Strange.
Yeah,
a little morbid.
Yeah, like it's like why? Like it's just, man, like that registry must have been very fun and weird. Like, what's the bottom of the pool?
Yeah,
keys, brick with a doll. Like it's like okay.
Yeah, they probably had some fun with that.
And then you start hearing the unmistakable sounds of Feeney calling out to Corey, and you realize that Feeney's been calling for Corey for a bit, and he gets Corey out of the pool.
Which this is the one thing I've always wondered about this episode is how did Feeney know? Did Zach covered, or is it just Feeney being Feeney?
It's that weird thing of like Feeney is such a smart dude, and like he's been a sixth grade teacher for so long. So
he just knows. He just knows. And he just knows to show up, pulls Corey out of the pool, and this is the thing I was talking about before, like with the scuba club. Like I'm like, this is incredibly dangerous, just in general. And now Corey's just like, of course it's just television and nothing's going to actually go wrong, but this could go wrong very quickly because I feel like all it takes for something like this is for Corey to forget like one part of how to do it right. And no more Boy Meets World.
Also, I want to talk about something I forgot to talk about earlier. Why in the first time we see Scuba Club, they're meeting in the cafeteria?
Great question. Sounds like a budget cut for the set design.
Yeah, I just was like, what? Like, because it's just so startling. We're like, huh? Then Corey gets home, and Amy's like, thank God you're alive, so now I can kill you.
Great line.
We quickly find out that Alan cares more about Corey than he does about the gloves. And then it's really a nice, sweet moment involving that while, he's in trouble, but not really.
Right, of course.
And then Feeney comes back, and he's like, I found the gloves. They were in the filter of the pool.
You see what you have me working with here, guys. Yeah. You just couldn't even look in the filter. This is a minor thing that I thought about that struck me with Feeney here is I don't understand why Feeney, unless, well, I wonder if Feeney brought Corey home, or if Corey just went home on his own. I'm under the impression that Corey went home on his own because then Feeney like lurked around
Yeah.
the school and got the gloves. But then I wonder why Feeney. I guess maybe he does this from time to time. He came through the front door instead of just being in the backyard because they're neighbors.
Yeah.
Anyway, that just struck me.
Maybe like Feeney likes drama.
Fair.
And also we get that great moment of the first time ever Corey hugs Feeney.
Yeah.
And he said, I don't know why I'm hugging you, but I'm hugging you.
Like,
right
how did I get here? And Feeney's like, don't worry, we just won't tell anyone about this. I'm sure one of many great Corey secrets that Feeney keeps up until the very end of the series.
Yeah. And then one of the last moments of like the episode proper, Corey gives the gloves back to Alan. He's like, I want you to hold these until it's the most important day of my life. And then Alan's like, when's that? And it's like, the day you give it back to me. And then it's like credits.
Yeah. Really sweet moment at the end. This is one of those scenes that I wish that they would have called back on later on. I wish that unless I miss it, unless I don't think so.
So I looked this up last night after watching the episode, like, because my brain's like, maybe it gives back on the wedding, maybe it's back at graduation. All we know is this, that Corey gets him before he gives it to Augie in Girl Meets World.
That makes sense. I feel like I remember that happening.
So like it happens at some time in that like 7 or 8 years between the many years between Boy Meets World, Girl Meets World.
Yeah, I think that's something like when you get to episodes that are big milestone moments, just see if he's wearing them. Like, see if it's an Easter egg that they put in there. It wouldn't surprise me if they just like if he's wearing them at the wedding or graduation or whatever.
Just got a box in his hand waiting.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if they called it back somehow and we just missed it. But also, like I said, continuity, Boy Meets World, they do not go hand in hand. So
I mean, one of the funniest continuity errors ever is the fact that like 2 seasons in, they decide that Corey and Topanga have always been attracted to each other.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. The one Sean has a sister, and then like
in
3
one
brothers.
episode,
he's got so many siblings that come and go and disappear. Those are 2 good ones. Yeah, the mystery of when Corey and Topanga actually met is a great one.
I mean, because you're right. But yeah, and then we get the last scene of the episode, which is Alan giving Morgan the little ceramic horse gift. And Morgan's like, "Oh, what's this?" And he's like, "A gift." And she's like, "When did you get this?" He's like, "In the story." And she's like, "No, you got this in the Navy."
And he's like, "Fine, I got it in the Navy." Right, just great. But I wish that Alan had not caved. Be a better dad.
I do too. But it's a thing of like, Alan is such a great, strict parent that has such a good heart that it's okay. Like, I don't know. I love that type of stuff.
That's true. He does. Alan comes through big time in this whole show. He's one of the best characters. They're all great characters. Yeah. But he is a great dad and a really fun role model in that capacity in the show.
It's a really great Alan episode. Yeah.
Yeah. I can forgive it.
You want to talk about anything else in the episode proper before we get to like the superlative stuff?
I don't think so.
All right. Then we're gonna hop right into the Minkus Minute. Minkus Minute. All right, so this episode's a fun one for Minkus. We get like we talked about this briefly before, but like it's like Minkus is like super crushing on Topanga this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is like fully like, Topanga, I'm gonna woo you with my scuba diving skills. I know how to be safe, and everything he says to Topanga is just very much like, I got you, babe. And he's like sick and tired of like being just a smart kid. Like, it's a really funny scene in the beginning when he's like, I don't want to be smart anymore. I want to say Juba.
Yeah.
And like you just see his hand like going like this, like he's like, I gotta do it.
Fine.
Let me think anything else I want to bring up. No, it's just like really fun that we're getting I feel like they're getting every ounce of Minkus they can get out of Minkus at this point, since I feel like they're getting close to, since I feel like the writers knew they were going to write Minkus out in season 2.
Yeah, I wonder at what point they knew that. At one point they made that decision, because Minkus is a great character, but I don't see where he would fit. going forward, unless they made him a little bit more serious and less of a caricature of a nerd.
Yeah.
Kind of like they do with Topanga. They strip a little bit of the wacky out of her to make her a real serious character in the show. They could have done that with Minkus, I guess. But I don't see the current Minkus iteration of Minkus fitting into where the show goes.
Yeah. Anything you want to bring up for the Minkus minute?
No, I just love that he has such like smooth game with Topanga, like I said before, and Corey and Sean are really upset about it. That's great, and love Minkus. Minkus.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, my wife and I also recently watched most of. We didn't finish it. We probably will at some point watch One Tree Hill. I don't know if you ever watched One Tree Hill.
I don't, but I know that Lee Norris was a big actor there. Yeah.
So Minkus is in it, and it's very funny. At first, kind of distancing myself from that, and now they're totally different things in my mind. But anyway, if you want more Minkus, and he plays a similar role, I guess. If you want to, go conspiracy theory that Minkus graduates into a real person and he goes onto One Tree Hill, he has a new name at that point. But but it's like a more serious version of the nerdy character because he is kind of like his face is just in his voice. He's going to be a nerd in any role he ever plays.
Yeah. He's a tiny little, he's like a skinny little nerdy kid,
Yeah.
But it's also like, because like I talked about this before, because Lee Norris was also Chucky Lee Torkelson in the Torkelsons. I don't know if you ever watched that show.
Unfamiliar, no.
Like I saw it on Disney Channel like as a kid because Disney produced it after its initial run, but it's like he played like a Southern Minkus.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, his name in One Tree Hill, like his nickname is Mouth, like my mouth. That's just what they call him because he has this big mouth and he does some sports broadcasting and he's just kind of a dork. Anyway,
I love it. Like Lee Norris is someone I'm always happy to see on camera. Like I know that he was in that movie Greyhound this year, but I've not seen that movie yet. But yeah. And that's our Minkus minute. Minkus minute. And now it's time for Betsy Randle is the greatest TV mom in the whole world. A one, 2, 3, 4. Betsy Randle's the best TV mom. Yeah.
She is. That's just a fact.
Like she just is. Like, I mean, especially in this episode, like it was brought up like last episode too, like how she really is the one that wears the pants in the relationship. I hate saying a phrase like that, but like
I'd say there's a strong equal partnership there.
Yeah. But like it's a thing of like she is on top of everything. Like in that first time you see her, like she's already at permission slip ready to be like to hand it back. And Alan's just like, oh no, I hope Corey likes my gift. And then like she's like, did you explain it to him? And like in that whole sequence with Eric and Sean, she's like, something's up. And she's
just on top of everything. She's just on top of everything. And at least in this situation, won't be perfect every time. She shows great restraint, shows great patience, is aware of the situation, does not get too freaked out. Like when Corey's missing, I thought it struck me as interesting that the two of them just sat and waited at home for Corey to show back up when their 11-year-old son is missing. And in the middle of where they live in Philadelphia. So like, I don't know if I would be able to do that at any time period. I know it's 1993 or whatever, but still like it's not the greatest look, but anyway, great restraint, great patience, great awareness of the situation. She's on top of everything. And that's going to stay the same pretty much the whole time.
I also love, she has a very, very fun line when Corey comes back and Corey just like goes upstairs and she's like, oh, he's grounding himself. Like I thought that was very, very funny.
Well, she said no. She said he's grounding himself. Don't let him take this from us. This is our one thing. And Corey says, fine, Mom, go ahead, ground me. Let me have it.
It's just that thing of like every time they give her anything, she just knocks it out of the park. Like she really is the best TV mom in the whole world. Like,
have you gotten to the episode where Amy goes bowling?
Yes. Yeah, that was earlier in the season. Yeah.
So that is the one episode that my friends and I have argued about endlessly, whether Alan and Amy were good parents for lying to their children about what they were doing. I thought it was great and awesome, but I have a friend that was incensed that they were constantly lying to their children about this.
I think it's fine because it was a small lie. It wasn't like anything severe, and it was also like for them as a couple that
Right.
like got married semi young. They have 3 kids that are able to take care of themselves. I think it's fine.
I agree with you, but
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway.
So let's get to the episode MVP. For me, there's not many options considering how great one person is in this episode. For me, it's gonna be William Russ. That monologue they give is about like the gloves and everything is just so cool. And like he's got like before that, like in his first few scenes of the episode, he's got such a great simmering beauty to him of like excitement about Corey getting the gloves and everything. And it just like I think it's a really strong Alan episode.
Mm-hmm. I thought through several options here. Actually, I really thought through 2. I had 2 options. Neither of them were Allen. That's probably
You're a
like
lot, yeah.
That's objectively like correct. But I was either between Eric and Corey here. Eric could have been really good just because he was just very funny and like the way he navigates Corey getting these gloves and just like toys with him at certain points and then helps him succeed in the mission of finding the gloves or try to. Just everything with Eric was really great here. This is like early Eric where he's not quite super dumb yet and everything was great there. But I'm ultimately going with Corey for a few reasons. I think just from a story perspective, if we want to just go from what Corey, how he develops here, Corey always comes out at the end with a sweet moment, with having learned something, learned something, learns, maybe the value of seeing things for more than what they just are. On the surface level, he sees this necklace and is like, this is dumb, but is now probably able to take some of those lessons with him and say, okay, if I get a present again in the future, or if I experience something, maybe not just take it at its face value. I think that storyline is really great there. And then Corey's just really funny. The way he plays up the things in the beginning when he doesn't get it, like the way he plays up just being like, this gift is dumb and I'm just gonna thanks dad and run away, all that. Of course the scuba duba joke is hilarious. And going with Corey.
Cool. I think I think all 3 of those MVPs, it makes all sense. It just was for me, it was what the amount of screen time and what William Russ does with the character. Like,
of course.
Like the episode when Morgan was like obsessed with like the zombie costume. Mm-hmm. She got it for me because like she had like 3 scenes and just knocked it out of the park, Mm-hmm. But like, for me, William Russ just, Well, that's good. Cool. We're wrapping up. Give us some of your plugs. Like I know you tweet and
follow me on Twitter for all the hot gossip, and by all the hot gossip, right now it's all about the New York Mets. If you follow
it's me a lot Twitter, of the Mets normally.
It's a lot of the Mets at Josh Consalvo. You can follow me there. Same thing on Instagram. You can look me up on Facebook. One of the big things that I would plug, if I were to plug anything, is I do host an online reality game of Big Brother that Mark recently played in, called Big Brother Hometowns. You can look us up on Facebook or YouTube. See some of our former seasons. They're a lot of fun. I'm finishing up editing Mark's season this week, or I have been. I'm almost done with it. It's a 3-week experience. Our roughly 25 days. Season 12 will be happening in January. So if you have ever been interested in playing a long form online reality game, I know a lot of the audience here are sequester people, so they understand this kind of thing in terms of the one night games and the Zoom games that are happening. If you ever wanted to dig your heels into something a little bit longer term, and it's still not that long, 25 days, it goes by pretty quickly. Hit me up. Applications will be happening soon for season 12. Is a ton of fun.
I'll say this, from my experience, it was an amazing experience. I did a lot better than I ever thought I would, honestly, considering how rough of a journey it was for my game. But the whole experience overall was incredible, and Josh and his team is awesome. And it's it's so much fun. I can't explain how much fun it is.
Well, I appreciate it. Mark came in, spoilers, Mark came in 4th place. So 4th?
I did the best of anyone that was not in an Unbreakable Alliance.
Yeah, you really did.
And I think that the person that eliminated me would have won if they didn't eliminate me. That's my personal opinion.
I agree with that opinion.
But that's a whole different thing. It's okay. I am over it.
Yep.
And
Yeah, throughout that game, a lot of people were like, Mark's going to sit here. Mark's probably going to sit at the final two and lose. Sorry, but that's what a lot of people were thinking.
I know people thought that, but also I was actually crafting my story, honestly.
I think you would have had a good pitch and would have been able to plead your case really
Yeah.
well. I think you had are experienced in that, where you could have
And
given
also,
yourself a fighting chance.
I was in second or third for a lot of challenges towards the end.
It's true.
So,
that's true.
I know that, whatever.
Who knows?
I had agency until I did it. But it's a really fun season, and I've watched, I think, 6 of the episodes, and they're all really good. And also, a big fan of season 9. Not former guest of Mark Remeets World, but former guest of Mark Talk, Kaylee Patterson was on and did great also.
Did very well.
But so my stuff quickly. Got this happening. On tomorrow, I believe Mike Bloom is going to be our guest from the interview day, which I'm very excited about.
Whoa, very cool.
It's not fully confirmed in our timeline, but hopefully in this timeline, it's confirmed. He's a friend of mine, so I'm very excited. We used to do improv together for a year. Yeah. And then, got miscellaneous Mondays. Yes, I probably did a good portion of Blockbuster Guy yesterday on that. I'm not sure, but that's how that is. And of course, got my Brant Steels. If you want to be on Brant Steel this week, which would not be the one that is in our timeline, but
in that
this
timeline, the timeline of the viewers.
I can have you on next time. I can have you on that game, Josh, if you want. But yeah, and also if you want to email the show, markremeetsworld@gmail.com. Comments, suggestions. Season 2 is coming up. Also, I always like to have guests, like new guests, especially ones that grew up watching the show. It's important to me. And of course, tweet at me at marklevy85. Josh, this was so much fun.
Yes, thank you for having me. This was awesome. I will be back.
Good. Great. I can't wait. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
See ya.